This is episode 79 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we're going to review JK's Melbourne Major, both his solo and doubles race, the highs and lows of both of them, as well as read a few listener comments and questions, answer a few of those, and my wife, Lauren Weeks, stops by and says hi in the middle of recording, so we get to ask her a couple questions and see what she's up to this weekend. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. Hi everyone. Before we get started today, I just am very excited to announce that TheFeed gave us a very exclusive code for 40% off anybody that wants to place their first order on TheFeed.com. So if you've been wondering if you should order from there, now would be the time. It's the biggest promotion they've done, even bigger than their Black Friday sales. So this is a great time to go place one of your first orders. And this happened after JK and I recorded this episode. So on the next one, we'll talk a little bit about our favorite things to get from there. But I will post a link in the show notes where you can click, and if you order through that link, you'll be able to get 40% off any new customer. And if you've already been there, you can get a section off as well. Or if you have a significant other that hasn't signed up to order from TheFeed yet, use their new email address and they can also get the 40% off. So thank you, everyone. And on to our episode now. How's it going today, JK?
I'm well, thank you, Anthony. Long time. It actually feels as if it's been like forever doing this with you.
I feel
How are
like
you going?
has it been 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we recorded together?
I think it has been two or three, obviously because of the Melbourne
Yeah.
race, and then you did a few solo episodes. But good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's great. You sound a little stuffed up.
A little bit. Got something. I'm assuming from the weekend down in Melbourne, which is pretty common actually. Hey, after a high rocks race, so just a little head cold, nothing too major, but hopefully it doesn't stay around for too much longer.
Yeah, and that's pretty common just because I think what it is, you guys put so much intensity and so much effort into these races, especially like when you're doing two, it compromises your immune system a little bit. You're around
Yeah,
thousands of people, all intermixed, like with a compromised immune system, a little suppressed. And then um, with those efforts and everything, I just think it's pretty common, not just for you, but for all of us, and especially the athletes, when we get mixed up like that, that we come away usually with a little head cold or a little stiffness, sore throats, things like that. Just
yeah.
little niggles, not niggles. Niggles would be something else. What is it? Like just stuffed up,
Just like,
little
yeah,
illness.
just stuffed up. Yeah. And I mean, Georgie has got it as well. So, we just got to be careful, like how much stress we're putting on our body right now with it, and we'll be right. But yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Back
People show
on.
up. People show up with illness when they probably shouldn't
Yeah,
too sometimes. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, but I mean, we don't have a bunch of opportunities to do the race, and you get one nearby. I can see the appeal, but hopefully we can get to a point where it's like, hey, let's just wait till the next one if we're sick.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. How are you going?
I'm good. I've had a long week because even though I did not go to Melbourne, I was basically still on Melbourne time, going to
Yeah.
bed at 4 a.m. and then I'd wake up at 10. Like, I think the longest night of sleep, the most sleep I got while Lauren was away was like 5.5 hours one night. But all the
Right.
rest were between like 3 to 5.5. It was just super long days for me.
Yeah, I bet. How was fathering all by yourself or
Yeah,
being a
solo
dad all
dad.
by yourself?
It's fun. I
Yeah,
got my little helper. She's actually right here next to me right now. She got
yeah,
a painted new little desk so she can be like daddy next to
awesome.
me in my office here. And she's
Yeah,
also wearing a Santa hat. Her Mima, my mom, her grandma, gave her
yeah,
well, she gave me another Santa hat, and Lily really likes it. And I wear this hat basically all through December, and now Lily's starting to
yeah,
wear one.
yeah, cool.
So she liked that a lot. But solo parent, we went and she's in gymnastics class, went and toured a
Cool.
preschool that she might get to go to.
Cool.
Took her to the gym a couple times where she got to watch daddy work out and then do some workouts herself. It's just been attached to each other for a long time. And then she was real excited when she saw her mommy come back.
I bet. I bet. Yeah, that was a long trip for Lauren as well, right?
The longest, it's the longest Lauren's ever been away.
Yeah, yeah. So I bet you're both glad that she's back.
Yeah, it's hard. Like you told me, it's better when your significant other is there. You sleep better with them around.
Yeah,
You, like with Georgie coming to Phoenix, you feel like it's going to be a better time, right?
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. You know, yeah, it's hard and like I can't even talk about parenthood and having a like a let's just call it like a mini me, right? Like, and I'm sure that's how Lauren feels and what she's doing, and all the other mothers and fathers out there that have to travel for for races and stuff. It must be hard, right? So, kudos to her, but kudos to all the mums and dads out there. Um,
Yeah, it's something I didn't think about, but you don't have any opportunity to do just you, right? Like if you're when you don't have a kid and your significant other's away, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go do this. I can do this. I can just go
yeah,
do it. Versus now it's like, oh, I need to make sure she's set up, take her with me, or
yep,
whatever it is. And it's a different journey for sure. I'd never realized, I never anticipated or like thought about it before having a kid, like that where when did I not have time beforehand? Like I don't feel
yeah,
I'm always
I
confused. I'm
bet,
like,
yeah.
what did I do with all the free time I had because like it is not the same anymore.
My sister Bernice had a baby 10 weeks ago, and in fact, her and I actually did mixed doubles together on Sunday in Melbourne. So
Uncle
she
James.
yeah, yeah. And that's what she's saying now. It's like it's so fascinating now that she's got a baby and trying to not find well, yeah, find time, but it's like all the time has just gone by trying to be there for little Chloe. And she's saying that in such a good way. But
Yeah.
yeah, and like it's funny because Georgie and I, we want kids eventually, and we all like we kind of thought maybe when the timing's right or like when we feel as if it's right. But I got a feeling like, correct me if I'm wrong, like it's kind of like you probably never, there's probably never a right time to have kids. It's probably just all right. Well, um. you'll make it work like if it happens.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what it is that like for us it was not like planned, but it was still like we'd been married a couple months and it was well when it happened we were like, well, at least we're in a place where we can afford a kid and we can like, you know, go about it and have a child in our lives. And it's not going to be an extra, like a burden or an extra, like stressor, you know? I mean, it is though, like it is an extra stress, but it's still just part of life and it was exciting. I still remember. It's I remember vividly just like learning that Lauren was pregnant. It was right after the Spartan Games 2.
Right.
She had like the second season she'd won, and she came back and she tells me this afterwards, but I had no idea. She didn't tell me any of this, but she was like, I went for a run and I was like, something's weird, like little tender running. She's like, I'm pregnant. And like she thought that to herself. She didn't tell me. She went and got a pregnancy test. And then we were gonna go look at houses to like go buy a house this day. And before we're about to
Yeah.
leave, she just comes up to me and taps on my shoulder. And I'm like, "Oh, you ready to go?" And I turn around and she's holding the test. And I was like,
Oh
"Really?"
my God.
Like
Yeah.
all excited.
Yeah, yeah. And that
Um,
was what, 2021? No,
that would have been, yeah, it was
2022.
November
2021.
13th, 2021 is when I found out. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think that's the exact right. So November 13th, 2021 was when I found out. Lauren said she knew
Yeah.
for about 2 days at that point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
And
that's
then
it.
Lily was born in
That's it.
July.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So, everyone, today we're not just going to talk about kids and the joy and journey it is of being a parent.
Yeah.
Although I could talk a long time about that. It's a lot of fun. We are going to first, we just had the High Rocks Major. JK ran in both the elite solo and the elite doubles. He experienced some highs and lows on the weekend. Probably really for the first time getting both those extremes. And then
Hmm.
we're going to talk about I was at High Rocks Anaheim. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
This weekend coming up is basically the final weekend of races before the mid-season break, and races will resume around mid-January. And if anybody hasn't looked yet, the Elite 15 regional standings are up. They're not perfect yet. There are some duplicates and some people missing, but you can kind of get an idea of where you stand at. Right now, it's just solo up. I haven't seen doubles, but we can go over those a little bit because, spoiler alert, Georgie might be racing Elite 15 double or solo in the Brisbane APAC regional if she goes and
Yeah.
gets another time because she is set up to do that. So you're going to have an Elite 15 household there, JK.
I know. It's exciting.
And
Hey, I
it's
have
a
she's got to get she does have to get one more time, but if she does, um and she doesn't even have to do what she did on the weekend. Um but yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I I think that's pretty exciting, and we'll talk about it too because there's a little thing I keep in my back pocket that I'm like, oh no, they might pass us now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go run another solo, and we'll talk about that. All
Yeah.
right, all right. So first up, let's. Oh, and we have guys. There have been questions and comments coming in over the past month or month and a half since we last did those questions and comments, and we're sitting just from the ones that I scraped up right before this call. There's 13 questions and comments, and we will start to read them and get to them. Um, that might be just over the next holiday episodes. What we're going to do is just go
Yeah.
over any questions and comments we get because there's definitely backup here, and it's going to take a while to answer all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so starting with the major in Melbourne, JK, do you want to start with your solo or doubles race?
Let's actually start with doubles.
All right,
Because like to go backwards because actually no, we'll start with solo because that's
end on the
the
positive note.
yeah. And like obviously for the listeners, Anthony and I have spoken quite a lot about the weekend in private. And as Anthony just said, it was probably my first ever weekend of racing that I did really have some highs and then have some very low lows as well. um, due to the fact that I wasn't able to perform at my best on Friday night at all. There's parts of me as well that are trying like I'm still unsure why. And it's fascinating with this topic because sometimes there's never going to be answers. And the sooner you get to a point where you're okay with accepting that there's technically like no answers or you not no answers. It's more like, okay, we can have a chat about why I didn't perform well. And that it could have been this, it could have been that, it could have been this, it could have been that. But at the end of the day, we actually don't know. And we never will. Um, Leading into Friday, like I thought, um, I was feeling good. I was mentally really excited and ready to go on Friday during the day. And my taper, I felt really good. So it's just very confusing to me what happened on Friday night. Um, uh, like, and to give even more context, it was the first race that I've ever had that my thoughts were very much, oh my God, like, am I even going to finish this? To the point of just like, I just need to get this done versus like, all right, having raced these majors before and doing well, um, not wanting races to end really because I'm just so on point. So, and here's the thing, guys, like I think the low of Friday night to me, and if you're listening to this and you've had, um, let's just say like um, races that you feel as if haven't gone to plan, it's only or ha haven't gone well. It's only because you know that you are capable of more, and you've probably done better in the past. So Friday night to me was, um, I've even used the word embarrassing. I've even used the word like, um, like embarrassing and kind of like so off who I am as an athlete because of what I've done in the past and and how I've felt in races in the past. So that's the thing. Here's the other thing. If I had if I went out there on Friday night and executed my race and felt good and still came, let's just say still came 12th, we wouldn't be talking about how bad or um um how bad my race was. And all I'm saying here is it's all to do with how it's all to do with our past history of what we've done before, right? Um, in hindsight, though, like I put my I put my without knowing, as I said, but I put a lot of what happened on Friday night down to not being smart with my not being smart all the time with my training leading into the race. And that wasn't two 1 week out, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. It's probably more so like 3 months out, 2 months out. Um, Maybe doing a little bit more, maybe pushing a little bit more than what I should have. Um, and as a result, my body not actually being able to kind of absorb all the fitness that I've actually put it through the last 3 months. Um, but it it's yeah, it's fascinating because I woke up on Saturday morning And Anthony, I don't know if I've told you this like properly. I woke up on Saturday morning and I told Georgie, got out of bed, I was just like, Georgie, I don't know if I can race. Like, and that's more so my emotions just taking over, being like, I don't want to let Jake down. I don't want to just fill in numbers. Like, and I've said that Jake Dearden and I have always said we don't want to fill in numbers. We're always out there to do well. So I texted Jake and said, "Hey, can we meet up for just for a chat?" And I pretty much just told him that I don't know how my body's going to respond. Obviously, I don't want to let him down. I don't want to fill in numbers. And long story short, his response was probably the best thing that he could have said. He's like, "Well, I get where you're coming from, but here's the thing, like, whatever happens tonight, which is the Saturday night doubles, like, you probably can't get any lower than, like, you probably can't feel lower than what you feel now, like, no matter what happens." He's pretty much saying, like, well, sorry, but like, whatever happens tonight, it's not going to make you any worse. Um, And, not only that, he kind of just said, like, he was, I'll be honest, like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have raced. He pretty much said, like, like, we owe it to kind of ourselves to be out there tonight. And we should have every right to be out there no matter what happened last night. So as a result, obviously we turned up and Anthony, it was the most I was the most nervous for a race that I've ever been. Um, I remember warming up and stuff because I just didn't know how my body was going to respond. I didn't know if I was going to have it. Um, 3, 2, 1, go, and it was pretty early on that I was like, nah, there's something different tonight. I've got my mojo back, or um, and as a result, we kind of turned it on and was able to secure the win and run our personal best together. Um, in theory, though, and sorry, I'll get your comments on all of this soon, Anthony, but. I don't want this to sound as if it's taking away anything towards the doubles race. I know for a fact like a doubles race is different to a singles due to the fact that you do get rest. So I think due to that, getting slight rest obviously in doubles as we do and being able to kind of like I guess produce more power. I was able to kind of like be on my game. So it was a great it was a great race as well because there was actually three of us, three teams that were like kind of neck and neck right up until the warbles. So and like mentally it was interesting because I didn't have this like mental push on Friday night, but Saturday night there was something inside me that like um I remember coming out of the lunges and just something inside me, and Jake and I were coming out of the lunges with Sean Noble and his partner, and then Charlie Bottrell and his partner, and something inside me that was like, well, no, like third or second isn't going to be good enough now, like um, and that's when Jake and I put on the gas. So anyway, and that was that. So yeah, it was such an interesting weekend to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote down some notes as you were talking, just so I would remember things I was going to say. First off, just I'm going to go through all of your elite results previously, right? So your first elite race was Manchester World Champs 2023. You came in eighth. And forget about times. We're just going to go by placement here because that comes important later. And then Chicago 2023, you did sixth. Stockholm 2023, you did fifth. Vienna 2024, you were ninth. And then Washington, D.C. 2027 or 2024, you were seventh. You and I had been talking, and I kind of was like watching you right before DC. Uh, so I don't really like count that as times we were coaching because I was just, all right, we're going to coach
Yeah,
you
that's
up to
right.
the LCQ kind of after that. After that, it was the LCQ where you won, right? You took first, blew it out of the water there. Then you went to Worlds, you took third in Nice. Then you were second in Amsterdam, first in Hong Kong, fourth in Vegas, first in Glasgow, fourth in Chicago World Championships, fourth in Hamburg, and then 12th in Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
Um, a little bit on that. One of the things you said was that if you felt you had run well and taken 12th, you would have been happy, and I completely disagree with that. If you felt you ran well and took 12th, I think you would be more disappointed, much more disappointed than you would be happy, because then you would have felt like this was the best I could do, and I'm only 12th. Versus right now, you're looking at like I completely crumbled and I was 12th. I'm still in there. Uh, wasn't too far back, but there's a lot to gain there. And so you know that there's a lot more room ahead of you, and that race doesn't define you.
Yeah, look, on that matter, I actually think you're right there. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. Another thing I want to talk about was like the Hamburg effect. You talked about your training like the last couple months. You were as I would say for Hamburg, you were as ready for that race as you were for Amsterdam the year before. It's just
Yeah.
that two more people were more ready at that point in the season. And yes, it would have
Yeah.
been nice to get your qualifier there. Uh, but just as you and I talked, I think that mentally, emotionally took more out of you because I think leading into this season, there wasn't really a question for you that you were going to get your qualifier in the first race and then be able to play the rest of the season.
Yeah. Correct.
And so, not getting it there, you took a much bigger swing about a month after that race, um, and then we had a big low, and then
Yeah.
like we're still trying to stabilize what the effect of that was. The good thing about that is that you continued training, you did a bunch of work, like that fitness, what you earned, what you did in that time is not going anywhere. That's part of you. That's you did it. It's in the bank. Now, like you just move on from there and either that fitness, like I told you last night, that fitness might express itself in Phoenix or what we do between now and Phoenix will express. But whatever it is, all that work you did not go to waste. It became part of your foundation to build off of,
Yeah.
right?
You're right. Yeah.
So I think that's really important is like, I think this was kind of a residual effect of the emotion and the mental toll that Hamburg took.
Yeah.
Um, did I expect it? No, but that's that's different. I mean, I'm not in your body. I don't know exactly how you feel. I know how we were talking leading up to the race, what the feedback I got, right? And it was good. And maybe there were signs that if we go back and look, we could assign significance to now, but like, why not just use those in the future as markers instead? If I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
right, like your biosensors, because you've been use those, they haven't been at the peak either. Like it's not like they were firing on all cylinders. Like before Glasgow, everything was up, everything was in the right place on those biosensors, everything was ready. And the last couple of races, they just haven't quite been there. They've been high, they've been good, like, but they're not like, oh, you're in great performance time right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting them back to there would be a good first step.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Um, Addressing that, we also talked about uh, this is important for a lot of people. It's primarily with women, but it happens to a large majority of men as well. Is iron deficiency, anemia. You should be taking an iron supplement
Hmm.
as you in like as you're exercising, working out, hemoglobin increases, your total blood volume increases. Like you need more iron to support that. So
Yeah.
iron is very important to keep those fresh and replenished. So that's very important. It could be, you were at maybe a lull in your biorhythm, like, or we have a biorhythm, looks like a sine wave, right? And maybe we just finally caught it at the very bottom.
Mm. Yeah.
And so that proper hard stimulus before the race and within the taper to get you ready and going out in that high, very fast paced start was a shock that you weren't ready for. But then the reason you performed so well in doubles was because the second day you were ready for it,
Yeah. Oh,
right? So
yeah.
maybe like there's a lot of factors we could have taken into effect here. And I think addressing some of those and isolating which ones are the key factor is important to success in the next two majors, the regional and world champs.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't think this demonstrates anything. I think no matter what, like we're looking at, I don't have any doubt you're going to be in the world champs. You're already an Elite 15 doubles athlete in the world champs, and now we're just going to get your solo spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so we have time, we have holiday breaks and stuff, like ability to recover and build and be prepared for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so talked about that. Another aspect to it is that the reason you may have went from your solos performance to your doubles performance, which I don't remember you texting me in the morning before that race. I would have, if you had told me you were planning on pulling out, I probably would have called you and been like, "Hey, what are you talking about?" Uh,
Well,
so
that's probably why I didn't text you.
yeah, so the one of the things I want to ask you about is like going into that solo race, you had high expectations of yourself, right? Like,
Yep.
so your high expectations and the way you know you've performed before, did that lead to you being like, I expect to be here and oh, this doesn't feel good? Like, so the high expectations led to a worse feeling because you didn't feel good right away because it was hot, like it was moving right away that race. And so when you went into your doubles race, you had low expectations and then you were like, oh, I know I'm going to be uncomfortable right away. So you just
Yeah.
stayed with it.
That's
And
pretty
so
much
it
it. Yeah.
framing our perspective here is your expectations versus how you felt. And we do a
Mm.
lot of training, a lot of your training, a lot of training in general based on how do you feel, trying to dial
Mm.
in how you feel. And it's great when you feel good and perform good. It gets really hard to perform good when you feel bad, but it still can be done. And
Yeah.
so I think high expectations with a bad feeling is one of the hardest things. And maybe you got so uncomfortable so quickly, you started to doubt how you felt. You started to doubt what you were able to do. And the second day, you didn't have high expectations. You didn't know where you were going to be. Like you said, you thought you were going to pull out. You thought you didn't belong. You were going to be last place. Like, so when it felt bad, you were like, oh, it's supposed to feel like this. And then you look around and you're like, oh, we're leading. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like I can
That's
continue
okay.
doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's an important view to have as well.
Mm. I agree with that. Yeah. And I think obviously like I feel like I um don't get caught up in the pressure of things or you know um I feel like I'm very good at kind of like trying to like not listen to the noise, but like the Melbourne race being on home soil, like it was meant to be a big race for me, and yeah, the potentially just it kind of all coming together in the end was it just kind of yeah it may have just shocked me for a little bit, and hence why I wasn't able to do what I did, um, or do what I wanted to do. But yeah,
Like I told you, like you're still that guy. This one performance isn't going to define that. We talked a lot before about like you are your best data point. You are still 53-23 JK. Like you are still that guy that ran,
yeah,
that guy that's a
yeah,
podium at World Champs, the guy that had not even arguably the best season of the men last year. Like
mm,
there's, I mean, I don't know how you could say anything else to go three of three of four podiums in the majors and only missed the podium um, by literally the first place missed at both one of the majors and world champs. Like nobody had a better season than that. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
it was the best season for a High Rocks athlete, and you didn't come away with the title last year, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't. You can't in the future. And this year, like you start out with a fourth, then you have a 12th. Look at just Tim's season last year, right? He was like
mm,
sixth, then second, then ninth or something, and he still
yeah.
won world champs. Like it, these don't define it. It's just get yourself to that start line at world champs, and that's where it
That's right.
matters.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's interesting to try to look at the big picture here and try to step away from like what I don't know what has just happened sometimes. And I know for a fact with your help, Anthony, that we'll look back at this and go like, yeah, maybe this was meant to happen just to kind of like um kind of have a different kind of journey towards, Stockholm. So yeah.
yeah, maybe it'll lead to you having to do something else or do a different race. We don't know,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, cool. All right. So you have anything else about Melbourne?
No, it was just Joey, yeah, just it was a fantastic weekend overall. I mean, um
Georgie had a great race. She ran a
Georgie had a
66.
great run. Yeah,
Talking about that.
66. 4 minute PB, um, which was awesome. And as I said, yeah, she'll need one more time to potentially secure that spot in that Elite 15 regional. So hello, Lauren.
Oh, my aunt's great. Hi. Came to
I
see Lily in her cute Santa hat.
Is
I have a
Lily
guest.
working
Are
hard?
you recording?
Yeah, we're recording. So yeah, Lily's working hard at her desk. She has a Santa hat on, just like me, like we talked about. But we have a
Hi.
special guest here.
Are you guys at the end of your recording?
No, we're in the middle.
Oh,
Well, don't let me interrupt unless you have a specific question for me, and then I will answer.
Lauren, how are you adjusting coming back to America?
Um, so I'm okay, but it was hard. I decided to stop in Anaheim and I didn't race, which was a really
Yeah,
smart decision. I was
yeah,
tempted. But I got to hang out with like a ton of people because I mean, like we don't get a lot of races in the US, so there were so many people that we knew there, and I'm really glad I stopped, but it made that trip home very long. So I'm
I
still
bet.
pretty tired.
Yeah, I
How are you
bet. Are you
feeling?
sleeping? Are you back sleeping on your time zone?
For the most part, yes, we've had like some extra because I wasn't really taking any calls last week, so we've just like had some extra kind of catch up calls this week, so some of them have been early. But I could, if I wanted to, like if I had the time, I would have definitely been able to be back on schedule.
Yeah, yeah,
How are you?
yeah.
You had 3 races. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I've caught a little bit of a cold, which is annoying, but it's nothing major. It's just a head cold. So I've just got to manage that
It's that race
for the
week
next,
cold.
yeah.
It's very hard to escape it.
I know, isn't it? Yeah, so but yeah, no, we're good. We're excited for Christmas. Um and as you guys know, it's only 6 weeks away.
I know
Phoenix.
it's crazy. It's a really short time this time.
Yeah. So it'll be good.
It's
Have you
hard
guys
to make, I don't know if you guys are going into this topic, but it's hard to make a ton of adjustments in a 6 week time. Like in terms of
mm,
like wanting to improve something specifically, it's not quite long enough of a block to
no.
kind of see the results that you would want. So you could start working
Yeah.
on it. There's no reason to not start working on something, but um, I personally don't expect to see very many changes for
No.
myself in 6 weeks, but like maybe come Warsaw, if I work on things that I want to, like that's when I would expect to see changes.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely a weird time also having not weird time, sorry, but 6 weeks, but also having the Christmas period within that 6 weeks, right? It's definitely like a yeah, I just think it's it's probably like a very it's more of a time frame where you kind of just want to maintain more than anything where your fitness and yeah, so is that your next race?
No, nope. I am racing in 2 days, actually.
You
And I
are,
didn't
don't
like I didn't know I was going to be racing in 2 days. So like I like to quickly like get some strength work in because we only have 6 weeks time. And of course I'm going to taper off of that like in the weeks leading up to it. I like did a pretty hard strength workout in the beginning of the week before I knew I was racing, and I am still very sore. So I'm
very
hoping
sore.
um,
So
that in 2 days I'm
AMP,
ready to go.
this podcast won't go live until
It'll go live tomorrow, so
Fine.
it'll be the
Keep it
day
a
before
secret.
she races.
It was a
the
secret
day
to me.
before.
I didn't know I was racing.
Yeah, cool. That's
Um,
exciting. What are you flying just the day before or something?
d- um, it was official. I got the tickets yesterday. It was official on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I did a strength work. I think it was Monday.
Tuesday.
Oh, I
Are
did it
you
Tuesday. It
flying
was I
up?
did it
Uh,
Tuesday before it was official.
okay,
And I am, yeah, like I am more sore than I've been in a very long time.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
When's the race? Saturday evening?
Saturday afternoon. I think it's like
Afternoon, yeah.
1:20
Yeah,
p.m.
cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that'll be good.
One
That'll
more
be good.
one more stimulus before I can kind of take a little break until Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Which like makes it like you're talking about holiday training and kind of like just a maintained period. And I'm sure that's very much dependent on priorities for people.
yeah,
So if this is if you have something coming up close after Christmas that's like really important to you and maybe your family's not coming into town, you can definitely prioritize uh, like training through that. I
yeah,
have family coming into town, so
yeah,
that's definitely a priority for me. Like they're traveling all the way from the East Coast, but I don't think ideally it's not bad timing because now I'll be coming off of like 3 races within a 9 or 10 day period.
yeah.
So
That's
I
right.
think like if I'm gonna have a lower week, like this is the perfect time for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
since you guys haven't said it yet, Lauren's going up to Vancouver.
I- yeah, so
Vancouver.
last race in North America before the end of the year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that you know that's racing up there from the elites? Is Cole? I'm assuming Cole might be
I
racing.
I
don't
don't think
I
Cole
don't
is.
think
He's in Bali, I think, for the next, or somewhere around
You
there,
did tell me
Fiji
that.
for the next
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
Camilla is.
Camilla's gonna
Well,
race.
cool.
Um
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure.
Are any of the men?
Austin Azar is gonna
Okay.
race. I don't know Chris Verglowski if she's gonna race.
She can't because it overlaps. The doubles and
Oh,
the
doubles and
solos
solo.
overlap, so
Okay.
she can't double. She can't do solo. Yeah, they did. It
Yeah,
was
that's
odd. You know
fun.
how like most race weekends they'll have like men's pro and women's pro on one day and then
Yeah.
men's doubles and women's doubles on another day so that like people could kind of double up. That's not how they structured the schedule this time. So the women's doubles goes like right before women's pro, and the women's pro actually start while women's pro
Whilst
doubles
the
are out there. So there's no way to
right,
do both if you wanted to.
right, okay. Yeah.
And they did the same thing for the men. So none of the
The
men can double
for
up
the
this
men's as
weekend
well.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, best of luck. I'm sure you're gonna crush it anyway,
Thank
Lauren.
you. I will let you guys
Um,
get back to your training topics.
and if I don't talk to you, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah. Lauren is going up to Vancouver uh, to race
Are you
uh,
going?
in 2 days. She leaves tomorrow and will come
Yeah.
back that night after she races.
Are you going as well?
No, nope. I'll be here again, but that's just a quick one, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so over the weekend, while you guys were in Melbourne, I was in Anaheim and got to watch some people race there. Pretty warm in the venue, I'd say, pretty humid and warm. Uh, but I always have thoughts whenever I'm at that Anaheim Convention Center that like with the amount of hotels and the activities and just like the layout of the convention hall, that would be the absolute best place to hold a world championship. I don't know why they won't.
Really?
Going to that Anaheim Convention Center, within a quarter mile, there are like 15 hotels. Just amazing uh, places to stay, connected. It's right next to Disneyland. You can just walk right down the street and you would be there. It's absolutely one of the greatest venues. It looks cool. There's so much stuff to do. I'd say the layout of the actual course this time was more spectator friendly than it was racer friendly. And it was a little bit warm and humid in there, but it's just an all around like if they ever ask to hold where they should hold world champs, I would say there. Hands down, probably one of the best venues overall. This is actually the first High Rocks we've raced there. I've been there for a lot of different things over the years, though. Everything from high school dance nationals when I was doing that, all the way to Decafits the last couple of years, and now finally a High Rocks race. The venue is just it's one of a kind. It's super cool, super convenient, and really a great place to host something major. Hopefully they hold a major there, or if not a major, at least a world champs or something, a regional. Like still absolutely the best place. The actual races, I got to watch Austin Azar, who I've been coaching for a little bit, and I got to watch him and Chris Rogowski race. I got to watch Camilla race. Event, she ran really well, but the time is 104.40, which falls a little bit short of the time she was aiming for, and about 2.5 minutes slower than the time she got in Dallas. So I don't think the times are reflective. It was about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes slower than most of the people's more recent races. So I'd say there's just a tough venue to run in. But as far as we heard with the point system coming, which we'll get into a little bit, that, racing to win is going to be more important than racing for time. Other things about Anaheim looked like a good race. Surprise, Grayson fell over, almost like passed out at the wall balls. Dude was fighting for a second place spot, was doing really well, and then just like threw one wall ball, no rep, fell on the ground, got up, threw a second wall ball, got it, fell back on the ground, and then was unresponsive, and they pulled him off the course. So
Really?
yeah. So Grayson, very close. He's a good guy. He was okay, and hopefully wishing him the best so that he can come back and do it. Uh,
Mm.
so we already talked a little bit about Vancouver. I actually wasn't going to say anything about Lauren going to Vancouver until she did. So yeah, that'll be there. So if anybody is in Vancouver and you want to watch her race, I believe she races sometime between like 110 and 120 is when their start time is. But JK, something I noticed over the past couple days is that if you go on HyRocks.com and you go to the results and rankings, and then you click on the major qualification 2026 and open the major championships tab, DC, London, and Brisbane are now on there, and you can see, at least for the solos, who is in the top 15 for that. And
Yeah, cool.
I got real excited. So I didn't know this, but I got real excited because I went to the Washington DC tab, and it looks like they eliminated the auto qualifiers. So everybody is based on
Okay.
average time. So Lauren's sitting in first with the fastest average time in the world of 57:17,
Yeah.
um, which is a minute seven above the second. And then the and so that's your average times. Everybody's ranked in the top 15, so men and women. And I got excited because I was talking to one of my athletes and they're like, "Hey, I'm on this list and I don't know what it is." And I was like, "Oh," so I went and looked at the list. Seven of the top 15 women currently for the Washington, D.C. regional championship are part of the hybrid engine. I was like, "Oh my God, we
Yeah,
have half the
cool.
field going to the regional."
That's exciting.
Um, so it was really cool to see that. And I don't know if all of them will end up racing for different reasons. One of them being pregnant, but the other the other people in there, I'm real excited for that race on the women's side and on the men's side. Um, but I'll just shout out those people. So it's Lauren, it's Vivian, it's Brooklyn Nichols, Audrey Skiver, Rachel Legacy, Lauren Griffith, and Samantha Faddis.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that race. But the cutoff times right now, and actually from this list, Lauren Griffith is in here. She has two average times, but it's not showing up, so this needs to be corrected. But so the actual 15th place cutoff time would be a 106.57 for the women in North America regional, or the Americas regional, not just North America. Um, the men's cutoff time for the Americas regional at the top is Dylan Scott with a 53.32 average and sitting in 15th. But there's a couple double people in here, including Ryan Kent and Jack Driscoll. So I think it's going to roll down a little bit. I think Ryan Douglas might be the actual 15th, and he's sitting at 1 hour and 3 seconds. So there's a few people that I know are eager to jump in and jump above that hour mark. Uh, in London, the Elite 15 men. Sitting at the top is Ronkovic with a 53.59 average. And then sitting right now in the 15th spot, and I think this one is pretty accurate. I don't see a lot of double ups here, is Fabian Eisenlauer with a 56.39 average. So
Okay.
pretty tight regional there to get in with a
Yeah.
56.39. On the women's side for EMEA, sitting at the top is Linda Meyer with a 59.48 average. And then sitting in 15th right now is Ida Matilda Rubens Steensgaard with a 103.26 average. So again, pretty tight there, but I'm sure there's going to be some movement on that side as well.
Mm.
Now we get to the APAC. APAC women sitting at the top is Joanna with a 58.49 average, and sitting in 15th right now in the APAC. And I'm pretty sure this one is close to being right. There might be a few missing, but 15th is, I don't know how to say his name, Ilona Jade Arrington, Singapore, with a 77.14. So,
Mm.
like we talked about, this one is, I really think that there's some people that can jump in here, and it's just they haven't run their second race yet. So there's some women in there that have a single time faster than that, and they just haven't ran that second race. And that will include people like Georgie, who
Yeah.
can jump in, and there's others. So I think by the time this one rolls around, you're probably going to be looking more around that 70-minute mark rather than that 77-minute mark.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and then on the men's side for APAC, sitting at the top with an average of 55.05 is James Kelly, otherwise known as the man sitting across the computer from me. Uh, and sitting in 15th right now is Wataru Nakamura with a 69.01. And so I think that is just important to see that he will need to. I think these times will also tighten up and approach that like 63-minute mark because there are a few men in this region that do not have times yet, or a second time at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you're looking at the top of this region, pretty big names here. I mean, besides you, JK, there's Tom Rogers, Bo Wills, John Wynn, Dexter Buchanan, Matt Slee. Those are your top
Mm.
six in that region, and all the ones under an hour with an average. So, say the chances of one of you guys getting a spot to Worlds out of this is really high.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I'll be the first to say that um especially over in Europe, I guess the London regional, Europe and the UK regional, the average time is obviously a lot lower than um the APAC. Let's just, think about it from the Mao end. But one thing that one thing that Bo Wills and I were talking about it on the weekend, and the one thing that he hinted was that at the end of the day, across the majors, um, be due to the fact that only one spot is awarded to the individual that wins that hasn't got their spot already. Um, Most of the races, I'm assuming the regional races, the time will be very similar. The winning time will be very similar. So at the end of the day, like the actual result of or the actual like qualification of um having one spot awarded to each region is fairly fair because like I'm gonna predict that the male winner out of London slash UK, out of America, and out of APAC will probably have to do a 54. And due to the fact that there's no other spots, um, that makes sense, right? And it's the same for the women.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, does
Yeah,
that
I
make
agree.
sense?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. That basically the spot that is earned, those guys are going to all be about the same level of
Yeah,
athlete. It's not going to go to somebody who's running
correct.
a 65, right? It's very unlikely that they're going to earn that spot, but it still gives them the opportunity to, and they're not going to run a 65 to earn that spot. They're going to end up running like a 55 to be able to get
Exactly.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
correct.
so depth of field is important, but the spot will go to the person that earns it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, Interestingly, just looking at it, we can also talk about Phoenix a little bit because this weekend is the last weekend, and then the lineups are set for Phoenix.
All
Um,
right.
Basically, you
Yep.
only have three events this weekend. That's Stockholm, Vancouver, and Shenzhen.
Yep.
And once those are set, the races don't pick up again until January 16th, which is past the cutoff date for Phoenix.
Yep.
So looking at the Phoenix lineup, there are some people that can try to make some moves, but right now for Phoenix, the top 15 men, uh, JK, Tim Vinish, Hunter McIntyre, Alex Ronkovic, John Wynn, Dylan Scott, Emilio Aguayo, Sean Noble, Rich Ryan, Cole Learn, Josh Van Zeeland, Charlie Botterill, Hide Wurzma, and Bo Wills. I'd say on the men's side, we might see three roll downs out of those names. Uh, so in the next three spots would be Graham Holiday, Thomas Turdvik, and Jake Dearden. So I don't know if those guys will clean it up, but that means that in order to have race in Phoenix, you're probably going to have a time average below 55:30, which is just astounding. That I
Crazy, hey?
remember 3 years ago, 56 being like oh my God, best time ever. How will they ever break that?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Hey, um, yeah. So it's exciting that we'll obviously know who's racing within for Phoenix in. Well, I'm assuming we'll know in a few weeks.
Yeah, we should know. I mean, basically by the end of this weekend, we should know what the lineups for Phoenix, both solo and doubles are, because no other races will count
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
that. So on the women's side, the lineup for Phoenix right now, as it sits, Lauren Weeks, Linda Meyer, Joanna Riestrick, Sinead Bent, Lucy Proctor, Meg Jacoby, Vivian Tafudo, Seka Arning, Melanie Marr, Gabrielle Nakora Baker, Lena Putters, Jess Petro, Emily Dahman, Manuel Garcia Camparos, uh, Kat Parnell. So out of that, maybe two might not show up. Like the women are usually a little bit more stingy in terms of keeping their spots. They don't roll down as far. I didn't mean that like stingy, but so the next two roll downs would be Ellie Stenfors and Zara Piergianni.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so again, on the women's side, 61:40 would be the cutoff if that's right. So that would be the average times. And again, under 62 minutes. Just amazingly how solid everybody is becoming.
yeah. It's
Especially when
crazy,
you're
isn't
sitting
it?
here and looking at it and you see there are five women who have averages below 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Cool. So oh, I didn't do doubles. I don't know if you want to do doubles or we can do a whole Phoenix. We'll do a whole Phoenix like preview or talk about Phoenix coming up. And you don't have to do that again. But um yeah, because there's definitely going to be some changes, I think, coming to the lineups here. And this one's a lot harder to navigate with all the double times and everything that people have.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So last thing we just wanted to do, JK, if we got to go, but there are some comments that we got, and we'll do a whole comments and question answer episode over the holiday break as well. So if you guys have any, and I'm going to take this moment that if you want to stop, leave us a review, 5 stars, or tell us why we don't deserve 5 stars. Either way, comment, like, let us know. And if you have questions, you can either email us or send it to Instagram, or you can just make it a comment either on the YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, and I will read them out. And that can be how we get our questions. But if we're going to do a whole questions episode, it'd be great if you guys wanted to uh, let us have some questions. What's burning in your mind? Coaching topics, high rocks topics, whatever it could be.
Yep.
But we did have a few that just to get them off our list here. Um, these ones are more in-depth questions, so I'm going to go down to just the comments. One of the comments, I think this is in reference to we talked about there was 21 sub 60 times ran by women, and Lauren had eight of them. It said 8 times out of 21, no words, consistently raising the floor. I agree. She's amazing. And then another comment we had, somebody said, the way you pronounced Malaga cracked me up. So I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Malaga.
Malaga. We talked about High Rocks
Malaga.
being in Malaga. I don't know. Is that not saying it?
Malaga. It's
Malaga?
Malaga.
I
I'm
have
pretty
no
sure it's
idea.
Malaga.
Malaga. If somebody knows, can they like phonetically spell it out for me? That'd be
Pretty
fantastic
sure it's
because
Malaga.
I was calling it Malaga.
Malaga.
There's a little accent above the A. I thought that meant that it was like Malaga, but if it's Malaga or if I'm completely messing that up, Malaha, whatever it is, somebody correct me. Give me the phonetic spelling of it, please. I would, I'd like to pronounce it
I
correctly.
I
Uh,
think I think I've pronounced it Malaga. I'm fairly certain it's Malaga.
okay. Well, I was obviously pronouncing it wrong. It'd be great if somebody let me know the correct way. Uh, Comment on the past episode that I did with Dylan Scott. That is, and I like this. So they said this was awesome. I'd love to see this type of guest format with a coach slash athlete in the space every now and then. Guys, we actually, JK and I have talked about this. There are people we would like to jump on and be able to talk to. Other coaches in the space, it'd be great to be able to talk to. other athletes in the space. It'd be great to be able to talk to. So that is something we'd like to get more into. It's just working around the schedule of everybody and actually having the time to come up with that. JK and I have a pretty good routine with when we record, and so throwing that off makes it tough. So yeah, JK, do you have anybody in mind that you'd want to talk to?
Hunter McIntyre.
Hunter McIntyre.
I
What
mean,
would
I'd
you
love to
what
have.
would you ask Hunter if he could
Um,
come on this show?
I would ask Hunter what he has for breakfast. I'd also ask Hunter what his favorite movie is. No, like I'd actually like to have a chat to Hunter. But there's so many other people out here in the space that we could obviously have a great discussion with.
Uh,
Um,
Other people that we could have on, I think it'd be cool to have Bo on, talk to him. I like having our athletes on.
yep,
Um, so I might also talk to Lucy Proctor, who had a fantastic weekend this last weekend, and maybe I'll just talk to her and see how she felt the weekend went. Um, Other athletes, I don't know why this name came up in my head, but I think you've talked about him or you know him. And I just saw him. He's on the regional standings for the APAC list. Is Dan Plews.
yeah, yep. Dan
So
Clues. He'd
we
be
could
a
talk.
great
Yeah,
chat actually.
we could talk to
Yeah,
him. We could talk to others. So yeah, guys. And if you have anybody else you think we should talk to, we will line those up. They probably won't be that common, but if we can do once a month or once every other month, I would love to have guest topics like that with coaches or athletes. So that
yep.
was a good question. All right, and the last question I'm going to read right now, guys, is question. Courses are 8.7K, including rock zone. When calculating this distance, do they take into account the meterage hidden within the station themselves? For example, running up and down long lines of ergs and sleds adds significant distance to any course. Is this meterage included within the 8.7K or extra to it? So, this was a comment on I think it was our last YouTube video. Uh, but if you, as far as I know, if you go and look or in terms of what I've been told, every course is supposed to be 8.7K, which is 8,700 meters plus or minus 10 meters. So 800, 8690 to 8710 meters. The measurement, I've watched him wheel out courses. I watched him do it in Chicago. I watched him do it in a couple other places, Vegas last year, and I watched them wheel the course. They usually stand about 1 meter off the interior rail of the run course. So they stand about 1 meter off that. They walk around that. They measure from the starting gate, the in and out arches, and they measure through every station. So if there's a long, if there's 100 ski ergs, they walk all the way through them and measure all the way through the station. They measure the
Yep.
sleds along the one edge of the grid where you start and stop. So they don't measure like down and back on the grid. So like the 50 meters of the grid isn't counted, but they measure along
Yep.
the line of it. And then they also would measure, they don't measure like through the farmer carry, they measure to the entrance to the farmer carry and then like from the exit to the end of the rock zone there.
Yep.
And they also measure same thing for the lunges as the farmer carry and the burpees as the lunges. So like that little walk around you do isn't counted, but they start from the start and stop on those sections. But they will measure all the way through like the rowers. And just for example, this weekend at Anaheim, I think running in the stations is even slower than running in the rock zone because like you're running through people by stations and stuff, so you're just not going as fast. And then in Anaheim, there were 4 90-degree turns to get out of the rowers. So you're not just going to be able to keep your speed up going around these corners
Wow. Yeah.
with judges standing there judging other people. You're going around them. It's tight. Like so it just adds time. It adds excessive
Yeah.
time to some of those things. And like getting in and out of the rower is about 6 to 8 seconds each. So, if you row a 2 minute pace and then you have 6 seconds. You're the fastest person in and out of a rower. So you got 6 seconds each. That's 12 seconds. So you're sitting at 412 now. And then you have to run down, around, and back. And it's like 40 meters to get around. And then you got to run the little thing before you're at the rock zone. That's why you see times that are like 425, 430 in terms of like their row and ski times.
Yeah.
Because it's also
I
where the
think
mats are.
and I've been meaning to actually potentially reach out, or actually I was gonna bring this up with you, Anthony, but why not now? I think on this topic, right, we have a lot of new online companies or online platforms now that spit out your Hyrox times, and they spit out data that illustrates what your average pace is, right? For a Hyrox race. Now, um, um, not to not to kind of disregard these online platforms, but there's been a number of platforms that I believe that are actually misleading, because the data that they're giving you, especially with your running pace, is like, I'm sorry to say it this way, but it's actually just incorrect information.
Yeah, and it is because I see they put the average pace there, and people will be like, "Oh, look, I was running 310 per kilometer." And it's like,
Exactly.
well, that's just first off, that's only on the outside course, which the outside course could be anywhere, depending on the distance of the rock zone, anywhere from like 900 to 1100 meters, right?
Exactly.
Like per run. So you're looking at these they're taking averages, and you got to keep that in mind. Like
And
it's
to,
8.7. Add your run plus your rock zone to get and divide it to get your 8.7. But also
exactly.
adjust for your own station times too. Like if you know, hey, I took 30 seconds once I crossed the timing mat to get into the sleds before I ever touched the sled, that's part of your running time, right?
Yes.
Though I would,
Yeah.
and we've done this before, JK. We've gone back and watched your videos, and literally we time it where anything where you do not touch the sled to finish the sled, and then we take that time out of your total time. And then we do the same thing for the sled pull. Take that time out of your total time. From the moment you start the burpees, take that time until you jump across the final line. Take that time out of your
Yeah.
running, out of the total time. And you do that for each and every station. And then whatever's left over is your total run, which is divided by 8.7.
Yeah. That's it.
So
That's
like
exactly right.
you need to get into that with the data you're trying to look at
Correct.
to get
Yeah.
specific.
And these online platforms are doing great to give information, but just 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 have a look at the information they're providing, and just double check by doing it yourself, by actually doing the maths that you just said, or the or the calculation of getting your overall running time plus your rock zone time, and then divide it by 8.7, and that actually is your total, or your average pace.
Yeah,
um but anyway, yeah, that's a different topic.
but that's the way to do it, right? So anyway, not that everybody, as long as you're consistent, I think that matters most. Like be consistent in your measurements, even if they're not precise.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we got what is this, 11, 12 questions left over, questions and comments. I think we're good on that. But guys, we will do a Q&A episode probably next, maybe after, but let us know what you want to hear and we will get back to you. But otherwise, thank you everyone and thank you, JK.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll talk to you soon, and if we don't talk or do a podcast before Christmas, Merry Christmas. Hope everyone has a safe holiday, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us about coaching or programming, you can find us on Fitter, either James Kelly
Hybrid Coaching or The Hybrid Engine. You can also find us on Instagram at jk.jameskelly or at The Hybrid Engine. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can also message us on either of those platforms or send us an email at thehybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's hybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.